How long would Killua Zoldyck, yes, that white-haired, lightning-fast assassin kid from Hunter x Hunter, rot in prison if he were ever caught? That's the question. And fair warning, this isn't your typical anime character is misunderstood deep dive. No, today we're unmasking a psychotic little prodigy hiding behind those mischievous eyes and a skateboard. Because when you strip away the charm and the edgy aesthetics, what you're left with is a preteen assassin who could give Dexter Morgan a run for his money. So buckle up, because we're not talking about minor misdemeanors here. We're diving into a rap sheet soaked in blood, cloaked in electrocution, and laced with cold-blooded murder. And trust me, by the time we're done, you'll wonder how this kid was ever allowed to walk free in the first place. So let's take it from the top, because Killua's criminal career doesn't start in Hunter x Hunter. It starts long before that. The first kill before he could even spell prison. Killua's journey into darkness didn't begin with a noble cause or a tragic loss. It began because he was bored. Let that sink in. According to Killua's official profile and backstory revealed in episode 94, he committed his first kill at the age of 8. Not a scuffle, not a street fight, a kill. And not just any kill, he killed a professional hunter, someone trained to survive the most dangerous creatures in the world. The victim, a man who dared to question the Zoldyck family's practices. In any real-world legal system, that's first-degree murder with aggravating circumstances, which is premeditated, with no remorse, and committed by a minor raised in a family of assassins. If this happened in the US, Killua would be tried as an adult under special circumstances. That's a life sentence without parole right there. But don't worry, it gets worse. Electrocution as torture, because why not add war crimes to the mix? Let's fast forward to when Killua uses his lightning ability to fry Ramit, a chimera ant soldier, to a crisp. You might think, well, he's a villain. It's justified. But what's not justified is the brutal torture that Killua unleashes before finishing the job. The electrocution isn't a one-and-done strike. It's a prolonged, sadistic punishment used to mentally break and dominate his opponent. In any modern-day legal framework, torture, especially electrical, is considered a war crime under the Geneva Convention. Even in combat situations, you can't electrocute someone into submission. You especially can't do it as a minor vigilante without any legal authority. Add another 30 to 40 years in prison, minimum. And if you thought Killua had at least a sliver of mercy in him, well, his next act is a cold reminder of who he really is. The elevator scene, premeditated manslaughter at its chilling best. Remember episode 20, when Killua and Gon are climbing Heaven's arena? There's a moment where Killua is confronted by Jonas the Dissector, a mass murderer with blades for fingers. But before the guy could even blink, Killua casually walks past him and rips out his heart without batting an eye. Now sure, Jonas is a criminal, but here's the catch. Killua wasn't in any immediate danger. The guy was posturing. Killua had other ways out, but nope, he decided to go for the stylish execution style kill. The act was completely unprovoked and done solely to send a message. That's second-degree murder in any courtroom, unpremeditated and reckless and unnecessary. And the kicker, Killua didn't just kill the guy, he smiles while doing it. That moment right there in episode 20 screams sociopathy, and it's the kind of thing that would earn another 25 years minimum in a high-security penitentiary. Still not convinced? Well, let's jump into something even more unsettling. Instant kill, the 2-on-1 decapitation in the Trick Tower. Let's rewind to episode 10. During the Trick Tower phase of the Hunter exam, Killua and his group are forced into a deathmatch against a pair of convicted murderers. Now, the others hesitate, trying to figure out a plan, but Killua, he simply walks forward and rips out the heart of one man in under a second, and then casually presents it like it's a souvenir. Here's what's key. These weren't chimera ants. These were humans. Yeah, criminals, but human prisoners in a controlled environment. The other contestants were prepared to strategize or even stall. Killua didn't. He made a decision, a lethal one, in a setting where killing wasn't strictly necessary. It wasn't survival, it was dominance. The kind of act that would get a Navy SEAL dishonorably discharged and prosecuted for use of excessive force in a hostage situation. Even if you argue the guy deserved it, you can't overlook the cold, efficient brutality of the kill. In any legal court, that's voluntary manslaughter at best. But given the sheer lack of restraint, a prosecutor would almost certainly push for a second-degree murder. Add another 25 years, and he's just warming up. The Yo-Yo Massacre, excessive force with a smile. Let's talk about the yo-yos. No, not the fun toy. We're talking about the 250-kilogram yo-yos he used in episode 58 to beat enemies into a paste. During the assault on the Phantom Troops fake auction, Killua uses those yo-yos to shatter bones, dislocate joints, and split skulls, often with a level of force that would make even seasoned executioners squirm. One of his victims, a bodyguard, is incapacitated in a single blow. The yo-yo crushes the man's skull so violently that it could be argued the guy died on impact, with no chance to fight back. That's not self-defense, that's legal overkill. In legal terms, this falls under manslaughter with excessive force, or assault with intent to kill, depending on how you want to spin it. Either way, we're adding another 20 years to the count. And don't forget, this is a 12-year-old swinging 110-pound steel weapons like they're party favors. If that doesn't scream criminal prodigy, I don't know what does. Assault on Ikalgo, attempted murder of a non-combatant. Even Killua's allies aren't safe. In episode 96, Killua nearly kills Ikalgo, a chimera ant defector who eventually becomes his ally. When Killua first meets him, Ikalgo is unconscious, vulnerable, and absolutely not a threat. But Killua, suspicious and emotionally unstable, prepares to kill him anyway. He hesitates at the last second, not because it's the right thing to do, but because he hears Gon's voice in his head. That moment shows us something terrifying. Killua has no built-in moral compass. He relies entirely on external guidance to keep him from slaughtering innocent people. That's attempted murder of a non-combatant, a serious offense in any court of law. We're looking at 15 to 25 years, depending on whether the jury buys his sudden attack of conscience. The most chilling kill, Killua's assassination of Sub. Let's talk about episode 111. One of the most quietly disturbing moments in Killua's resume. During the infiltration of the Chimera Ant Palace, Killua takes on Sub, a low-ranking enemy soldier. Instead of a flashy showdown, it's clinical. Killua slashes Sub's throat before the man even notices he's been attacked. Sub collapses, gasping, confused, not understanding what just happened until it's too late. And Killua, he keeps walking, doesn't look back, doesn't even slow down. The guy was just doing his job. An enemy, sure, but not a monster. The court would see this as a cold-blooded murder, committed with such efficiency that it would look premeditated, even if it technically wasn't. It's the kind of kill, the invisible execution, that lands a hitman a life sentence. In Killua, he did it with all the emotional engagement of ordering fast food. So, what's the final verdict? Let's redo the math now that Killua's body count and brutality score have officially hit the roof. Life without parole, first-degree murder at age 8, 40 years for torture, ram it, 25 years for Jonas, unprovoked murder, 25 years for trick tower kill, second-degree murder, 20 years for yo-yo manslaughter, and 25 years for attempted murder of Ikalgo, and life sentence for the Sub assassination. That's 2 life sentences plus 155 years in prison. We haven't even talked about his illegal weapons, unlicensed use of Nen in combat zones, or conspiracy to murder. Killua may be a fan favorite. He may have the best glow up, the cleanest fights, and the most quotable moments. But if you ever saw him in real life, you'd cross the street, clutch your keys, and pray to heavens he wasn't bored that day. Because Killua Zoldyck doesn't need a motive to kill, he just needs a second. Well, if you thought Killua's rap sheet was bad, check out how long Luffy's prison sentence would be.